Hi, my name is Laurie Matthews, and I'm one of the sponsor teachers at Family Partnership Charter School. This video is the first of a series of 5 to teach you as a homeschooling parent how to pull another writing strategy into your days. I do not want to overwhelm you, and so I've broken this into 5. Like I said, this is the first one. The second one is, well, this first one, excuse me, is going to focus on quickly the brainstorming aspect, but then mostly the outlining for a paragraph. So the pre-writing stage of the writing process. The second video is going to focus on topic sentences, and I'm going to teach you a bunch of different types of topic sentences, different styles from this curriculum that your child will then be able to model from, and it will take the confusion and the frustration and the stress away from writing a good solid topic sentence. The third one is going to talk about what we call the E's with this curriculum, and this is where we add elaboration and that extra interesting information to our writing. The fourth video will talk about transitions, what they are. I'm going to provide a bunch of examples, a bunch of different documents for you to have as reference. And then the last video will focus on writing conclusions, which is sometimes as tricky for children as writing topic sentences. So I'm going to be giving you a lot of documents, a lot of PDFs to print off. Each video will have several, so you'll want to go ahead and pause the video now and print off the ones that are attached to this one. If you are watching this and you do not have access to the videos, or excuse me, to the PDFs, you can find them on the Family Partnership webpage under the programs link, and then under programs, under parent workshops, there's a writing workshops section, and that's where all of these are going to be kind of housed. So the PDFs will be attached in that way. You also can absolutely send me an email, Matthews_Laurie@asdk12.org. That's MATTHEWS_LAURIE@asdk12.org, and I will happily send the link to you with the PDFs. Okay, so before we continue, I want to show you the curriculum that I'm going to be using. This is called Step Up to Writing. And if you've watched either of my 2 previous videos, I've discussed this in depth. This is a wonderful curriculum that is geared towards public school teachers, or possibly private school teachers as well, but geared toward the classroom teacher. The teacher goes to a training put on by Step Up, and then they get the curriculum, and then they implement it in their classroom. So I really like this, and I think that it would be that it has been very helpful, very beneficial for a lot of homeschooling families. And so I have requested permission to disseminate, to create these videos to teach you parents how to pull this into your curriculum. And this isn't like, you wouldn't replace a curriculum that you're currently using. I'm just trying to provide you with tips, strategies to pull in, to layer into what you're already doing. Okay. And so I do not have the ability to pause I can pause, but I don't have the ability to go back and delete if I say something. So I'm recording this on Zoom, so please bear with me here. I'm not a professional by any means of making these videos, but I'm doing this to help you because I know that writing is an area that a lot of parents who are either have been homeschooling for a long time or are brand new to homeschooling are really struggling with and really feeling quite frustrated about. And so that's what my heart is, just really to help you make this a comfortable thing and help you love what you're doing. This has been a really hard year for all of us. It's a hard winter right now. It's dark. And a lot of families at this point are like fed up with homeschooling. I want to just encourage you to, instead of giving up, reach out to your support system. There are so many different things we can do to change things up. A lot of it is going to be really in how we connect with our kids and in loving on the work that they're doing. Sometimes the curriculum we're using is not the right fit, And so maybe it's time to stop and make a shift and reach out to your contact teacher or your sponsor teacher. If you're a family partnership, you have a sponsor teacher, and we all have a wealth of knowledge of so many different curriculums that you can choose from. So if what you're using isn't working, please reach out to your sponsor teacher and ask for some different ideas and some tips of how to make this an easier process for you. Okay, so back to the Step Up to Writing. I'm going to just toggle real quick to show you this curriculum. All right, so this video is going to teach you how to create something very quick and simple. And once you've done it a few times with your child, they'll be able to hopefully do this independently. And I'm going to be talking about how does this outline then convert to a really well-structured paragraph that's interesting. The beautiful thing about writing an outline before you sit down and write a paragraph is that it helps your child organize their ideas. It helps them understand that we have key ideas and then we want to develop those. So before we do anything, I just want to show you, this is the basic outline form that this curriculum uses is going to be like a T, okay? And then over here we have the key ideas of whatever our topic is. Over here we have what we call the E's, the elaboration, the examples, the exact evidence. Up here we put our general topic, which is then going to turn into a topic sentence. Down here we have a general idea of what we want to include in our conclusion, and that will then turn into a conclusion sentence. Okay, so this is the writing process that the Step Up to Writing has identified. First, we have our pre-write phase, and that's where we do our brainstorming. And that can also include our outlining. So we do our brainstorming of our ideas, and then we come into our planning stage. So we're going to be talking about the planning stage when we talk about outlines in this particular video. This is where we take the brainstorm, we put it into an organized manner. Then we'll be talking about the drafting. This is where we write the first draft based on the outline. The revision is where we can pull in the 5 of the 6 traits of writing, and we can look at different ways to increase all of the different aspects of our child's writing. If you've watched my previous videos, you know that there's a wonderful website you can go to called Thoughtful Learning, and they have some great little mini lessons in there to help you with ideas for revising. Editing, this is where we talk about spelling errors and grammar errors, and do we have commas and periods in the correct place. So this is where the bulk of the connection with our child is going to happen, and where we're going to fall in love with writing again, and our child is going to fall in love with writing. So I am also a homeschooling mom. I have been homeschooling my son for about 8 years, and I love it. I recognize that there are frustrating days, everybody has them, and we want to persevere through them because we love our kids and we're all homeschooling for a reason. Whether we actually chose this or not this year, we're all doing it for a reason, and so we just really need to support each other and help each other through this tough times. So with that being said, I am going to be pulling in some examples that I've done with my son. Now, these are not perfect examples by any means, but I'm using these intentionally to show you that you do not need to strive for perfection. We just want to get our child writing. We want them excited about writing. So here is an example that I did with my son when he was probably 10 or 11. I'm going to pause real quick. All right, so here is the outline. You can see that it's basically the T. I like to put additional lines up above that just to fit the topic sentence. All right, so how did we get to this point? Did he just say, oh, Mom, I want to write a paragraph? No, absolutely not. I'm going to flip this over and show you that we got to this point because I said, okay, we're going to be writing a paragraph and I want you to write about something that is exciting to you. So what would you like to write about? And he said, well, I'm very excited because I know we're going to go on our trip to Utah again this summer. And I said, awesome. Okay, well then we're going to write about your trip to Utah. So I asked him to create a web. At this point, he'd already done several of these, so he knew what that meant. And I reminded him that his whole point of his paragraph was going to be about going to Utah. And I wanted him to pick three areas that he wanted to write about his trip. And he said, well, I'm very excited about going skateboarding. I'm also very excited about spending time with my cousins. And I'm excited about hiking because we had a lot of fun hiking last summer there. And so he put each of those in here. These are then going to be his key ideas. Then I said, well, when you think about the skateboarding and spending time with your cousins and the hiking, can you come up with two specific things that you would like to discuss about that? Two for each. These now become our E's, which we'll be talking, this is all going to become very clear soon. So he came up with crashing when skateboarding and smooth roads and tricks. He wanted to write about those. From hiking, he wanted to write about the mountain and the desert. And then his cousins, Kian and Ashton. So you can see that I did this just on one sheet of paper. Really what I did is I folded it over and I had him do his brainstorm here. I highly recommend doing this because especially for younger kids, it's just easier for them to then have this right in front of them. The next thing that we did, and we did this part together, I made my tea. I said, okay, here's going to be your topic sentence. Now, he already had a lot of comfort in writing topic sentences because I'd already done these lessons with him. So he had no problem doing that. But this is the topic sentence lesson will be coming up. So here you wouldn't probably have your child write topic sentence yet. You would just have them write what the topic is. So going to Utah in the summer would be appropriate to write up there. It wouldn't be a sentence, it would just be the topic. And then I said, okay, so these were your three main things you wanted to talk about related to this trip. So you wanted to talk about skateboarding, hiking, and cousins. When you write your paragraph, we want to put them in whatever order you think is the most important. So could you please put a number over here? Could you decide which ones you really think you should write about first, second, and third? So that's where these numbers came from. Once he did that, I said, okay, remember, these are going to be your key ideas. And I color coded. I put stars on here or had him do it and we color coded them. And I said now, and I did the writing for him over here. I said, okay, we've got three key ideas, 1, 2, 3. So we're going to put them in the order that you decided you wanted to write about them. For each key idea, you came up with 2 E's. So the E's go over here. And so then I transferred these over in the order that he wanted them to be. So now I'm going to read his paragraph to you with this right here so you can follow along with the outline and see how that planned out. I'll kind of use this with my fingers. Okay, this summer I am going to Utah again and I am excited. I look forward to skateboarding because it is very fun and I'm good at it, and cousins know it too. In Utah, there are very smooth roads, which makes it easier to do tricks. Plus, when I go there, it is very fun to crash versus here in Alaska where the roads are rocky and it hurts bad when you crash. Also, there's a transition. When I go to Utah this summer, I am going to visit my cousins, Kian and Ashton, who are very fun. Kian likes to do all the same things I do, like skateboarding, playing video games, and we both like building Legos. Ashton is just like Kian, but he is 2 years younger. He is just as fun. Me and my cousins built a dam when we went on a hike. Also, next time I go there, I'm going to go on a hike in the desert, so it's going to be very fun. Okay, so you can hear he kind of did a blend between the hiking and the mountain because the dam was built up in the mountain, and he didn't specify that, and that's okay. And then he pulled in this is the next sentence talking about the hike in the desert. No conclusion sentence. Sometimes I require one, sometimes I don't. I also did not take this to the final draft stage because I really just wanted him writing. Most likely we would have, after he wrote, I probably typed it up just so that he had something to share with his cousins because he was excited about what he wrote. But I wasn't super concerned about doing a whole lot with that. Like I said, I just wanted him writing about something that he was excited about. That's the key. You guys, you want to give them writing prompts for something that they are engaged in, either something that they know a lot about, something that they're looking forward to, something they have experienced. But if you give them a prompt that they don't connect with, you're going to, and there's going to be a lot of resistance. So what you want to do is you want to maybe provide a variety of prompts. Let them pick the one that resonates with them that day. And here we have another example, again, pulling from my son's piles of work. This is, you can just see how very quick and easy this is. It's a fast way for them to organize their ideas. He did do a brainstorm before this. It's super messy, so I don't really want to show it to you, but he did do a brainstorm. He did come up with a topic sentence. And then from his brainstorm, he pulled this in very quickly. I just had to say, go make an outline, please. Make sure that you come up with at least one E for each key idea. That's all I said. And then from that, he was able to follow his outline and was able to come up with a really, this really interesting and fun paragraph about his buddy. This was last year, so the beginning of the year, basically October of 8th grade. He really wasn't wanting to start writing right off the bat. So he was certainly resistant, but he got to pick a topic that he was excited about, his friend. And what a beautiful job he did. So this was a really great way to get him going again in the school year of writing, where it wasn't necessarily related to something he was learning about. All right, so now we're going to start to look at these documents that you printed off and work through them. I need you to have colored pencils. I forgot to mention that. If you could grab a couple of things, pause the video here in a second, grab these and then come back. I need you to please grab a green, a yellow, and a red colored pencil, a regular pencil, and a sheet of computer printout paper, plain paper, and also a sheet of lined notebook paper. If you're able to grab those, that'd be fantastic. All right, so the first 2 pages just give us a quick overview of different paragraph patterns. These are not all of the paragraph patterns that are out there, obviously, but this is just a good overview that you can use when you're teaching this to your child. A younger child, I probably wouldn't do this with, but an older one, absolutely. When I say younger, I mean 3rd and 4th grade, this might be too much, but 5th on up, this would be no problem. I also want to make a note that the curriculum I have pulled from, they've got 4 different levels of this, all the way from 1st grade through high school. And I have pulled into the PDFs for the purposes of these 5 videos, I have pulled from the 3rd through 5th, the middle school one, and the high school one. So we're going to have a blend of content. It's all very, very, very similar. And this is totally appropriate for 3rd grade through high school. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is kind of circle this right here, this first just reason, detail, fact, okay? So some of the documents that I have are from older oh goodness. All right, I got my word, older publications. And so some things have changed as they've published different versions of this. So we're going to be referring to reason, detail, fact now as key/star ideas. So if you want to go ahead and write that on your paper, this from now on will be referred to as key or star ideas. I want to point out this right here. This is what we would call, let's draw an arrow to this one. This is a basic, very basic 5-sentence paragraph. This is fine. This is a great paragraph. We have a topic sentence. We have 3 key ideas, also known as reasons, details, or facts to support our main idea that's in our topic sentence. And we have a conclusion. It's a solid paragraph. However, quite often we really want to expect our children to develop their thoughts more. And so as they start to grow, we want to use this idea that I'm going to be pulling in called the accordion paragraph structure to help them build and help them stretch. Really, the idea is stretching their ideas instead of stacking one on top of another. And we're going to stretch them by incorporating explains, the E's, after the reasons, details, and facts. So let's see what that looks like. So now we're going to take this basic 5-sentence paragraph and let's see what that looks like right here. Now we have that exact same paragraph, but you can see the difference is that we've got E's added after each one, okay? So also note that where we have the explain, this from now on is going to be referred to as the E's because we're going to take that word explain and we're going to add other words to it that start with E. And we're going to have an entire video on this, but I'll be referring to it as we go. All right, page 3 of what you printed off is going to be just a plain sheet of paper, but you see these lines on here? We want to fold this to be like an accordion. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. We don't want to fold, 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 fold. We want to do this flippy fold type situation. All right, so we're going to start here and we're going to flip the paper back. And I just put these marks here to help you guide where you folded so that we end up with 8. And then we're going to bring it forward, and now we're going to go over, try to line it up. We'll come, you know, if this is really, it's making a fan is what we're doing. We're making a fan. All right, so you've just made your accordion. So why are we doing this? Well, this is the accordion method that Step Up to Writing, that Maureen Aumann, the author of Step Up to Writing, came up with. And it's been very effective. She used it very effectively in classrooms all around the country. And then she added an additional layer, which is color coding. So we're going to, and I'm gonna have you go through the color coding, and you're gonna see how all of this pulls together. Okay. All right, so here's where we need to have our colors. We're gonna start with the green. We're going to go, now I wanna also tell you, if you haven't seen one of my videos, I do think I forgot to let you know that what I'm doing in this video with you is modeling for you how to teach this to your child. This one seems a little bit awkward just because I'm going through some of the background with you, but you'll get the gist of this pretty quickly. But this is what you would do with your child, no matter their age. You would do this with the colored pencils. You would also do the accordion fold first, okay? So green, that stands for go. Green is go. You write a topic sentence. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and take our accordion fold. We're going to put a green dot right here, boop, and fill it in. And then right here, we're going to write topic sentence. Now we're going to set this aside. The next sentence is going to be yellow. So we're going to fill this in with our yellow. This is slow down. Yellow means slow down. Here is where we would introduce a key or star idea by using a transition word or phrase. So this is where we have one of our supportive details, our key star ideas. This is yellow. So on our very next section here, we're going to do a yellow circle. Now yellow is not going to stand out, so we'll use our regular pencil and we'll write key star idea. It's good to use the stars because when we end up using the, taking this concept and putting it into the outline, that's going to make more sense then. The color coding is a big part of this, okay? The next is stop, and stop, red. So we want to fill this in with red. And we stop, and here we elaborate by providing an example or an explanation. This is also called supporting your key or star idea. So we're supporting this by elaborating. So now we're going to take our fold here and we're going to do a stop. And what are we going to put here? We're going to say an E. We're just going to say an E. And we can tell our child as we're doing this, this means like an example or exact evidence or an effective quotation or to explain anything that's going to support this key idea that we have, okay? And then lastly, we have go back. Now on here, we are not going to put a green go back right here because it wouldn't make a paragraph, right? So we start with our topic sentence, and then we have our key idea, and then we slow down to write our key idea, and then we stop, and we write an E, and then we continue. We pull in another key idea. And then another way you can present this instead of key idea, you could say supportive detail or big idea. One of your important things you want to write about in your paragraph. That's what these guys are, okay? So after we have a key idea, then, oops, we want to stop again. We want to make sure we write an E. Can a third grader do this? Absolutely. And then, oh, we're going to do another one, another key star idea. And then another E. And then lastly, we have, oops, I need to write my NE here. Okay, now lastly we have go back. This is where we have our conclusion sentence. So the green go, so go back. Remind your readers of your topic sentence. This is our conclusion, so we're going to write conclusion sentence. Okay. Then right here, we're going to put a, and we're going to write conclusion sentence. Okay, so you might wonder, is this important? Do I even have to do this with my child? Yes, you need to do this with your child. It's incredibly important. Here's why. Even though we're not, this isn't actually our outline, okay? This is our accordion fold. Even though we're not having our child write their topic sentence here, and we're not having them write their key idea here or their E here, we're just saying that that's what they are. This helps them understand and remember that the order, so green, yellow, red, and then yellow, red, and then yellow, red, and then green is to go back up here. So the coloring helps them remember this. Why is it important that they remember yellow, red? Because if they just do yellows, if they only do key ideas, you're going to have very simple paragraphs, very simple writing from them. But if they remember, oh wait, after yellow, I need to stop and I need to develop this more with more information about it, they're going to do it. They're going to be much more comfortable. Also, then when we make the outline, I'm going to show you how kids can get confused if they haven't done this color coding accordion. But if you do this first, it erases all of that because it's not even an option in their brain. They won't worry about it. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and color code the example paragraph at the bottom of that page. Okay, and again, I am modeling for you what you will do with your child. And you will do this with your child. So you'll have a copy on your in front of you, and they'll have a copy, and you guys will be color coding together and talking as you go. So we're going to look and see how this method turned into this really interesting paragraph. Okay, so firstly we have our topic sentence, and we're going to underline that. We're going to identify it. Bats use sound to fly in the dark. So let's underline that with green. That's our topic sentence. First, the bat makes a sound through its mouth or nose. So that must be a key idea because it follows directly after the topic sentence. It's not additional information that the topic sentence needs in order to make sense as a topic sentence. Usually topic sentences are one sentence. Occasionally they can be two. It's rare, but we want to check and make sure that's not the case, and that's not the case here. So first, the bat makes a sound through its mouth or nose. Okay, so this is the first key idea. Look at that. That word first is a transition, and the key idea or key/star idea is incorporated best with a transition word or phrase. Okay, so first the bat makes a sound through its mouth or nose. These calls are very high pitched. That is an E. Why is that an E? Because it's not a new key idea. It totally gives us more information exactly about this key idea. So we're going to underline this, and this, we're going to call this an E that supports this key idea. Let's see what the next sentence is doing for us. The sound waves rush out and bounce off objects. Oh, we're still talking about this key idea. Huh, look at that. We have a second E for that key idea. So we've got a key idea and two E's, nice. Then the bat listens to the sounds that bounce back. Okay, so this is our next key idea. So we've got first, then, that was a clue. The bat listens to the sounds that bounce back. The very next sentence hopefully will be an E to elaborate that. Those echoes tell the bat where the sides of the cave are. They do, nice. So that is an E. Let's see what the next sentence is doing for us. The echoes also help the bat find juicy bugs to eat. Hey, we're still talking about the echoes. We're still talking about this key idea. So this is another E to support that key idea. And then the last sentence, let's see if this works as a conclusion. Using sound in this way, bats have no trouble flying at night. Yep, that is a conclusion sentence. It's also a really good one. And let's see how they did the go back. So the go back is to remind the readers of the topic sentence. So we're going to go back, we're going to read the topic sentence. Bats use sound to fly in the dark. Now we're going to see how that connects here. Using sound, in this way, bats have no trouble flying at night. Fly in the dark, flying at night. And we can just go like this and like lightly colored so that they can see how sometimes we will use the same word and sometimes we'll say the same thing using different words. That's just one strategy for a conclusion sentence, but this is a pretty good example. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the elements of a paragraph using the Step Up to Writing method. So organization is the key. We want to use our traffic light colors to plan the paragraph out. Our topic sentences are the heart. So we want to have our child color code this. This is the topic sentence is the heart of our paragraph. We use green to remember that the topic sentence tells readers what you are going to explain, because green go. That's going to help us remember that. Here's something that I want to have you add here with your notes. You never, never, never write something like this. You never want to write, you never want to have your child write. If they do write it, ask them to change it. I am going to. This paper will tell you. You will learn. After you read this, you will. Why don't we want to do this? This sets the paper up to be kind of weaker writing. Instead, we want to say, okay, what came after that? We never, 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 never want to start our topic sentence out like this. So let's think about what you were going to say after, and let's put that into an interesting sentence instead. And that's another reason why I love this curriculum, because it gives you explicit types of topic sentences that your child can model after. You just have to take your topic, whatever it is that they're writing about, and make it fit any that seem interesting in the time. So when we do this video about topic sentences, I'll show you what I'm talking about. And you can pull that out and say, oh, looks like you wrote one starting like this. No big deal, but we want to avoid this. So let's use something else instead. Okay, next, the key or star ideas and transitions, those are yellow. So we start with green and then those are yellow. The transitions are the glue. That's why we have the glue. The transitions are the glue because they help everything stick together and they help make things smooth and clear. And we use yellow to remind ourselves to slow down. And then you can't really tell, but this is like a steak, a piece of steak. So red meat, that's what this is. So elaboration is going to be the red, the meat, the bulk of it. This is the really important stuff. This is how we really fully develop our thoughts. So we want to use red to remind ourselves to stop and explain. Examples and explanation support your key ideas. And then lastly, we have our green, the conclusion, to tie it all together with a ribbon. We go back to the topic. A good conclusion reminds readers of the purpose of your paragraph. Okay, and again, we're going to have separate video for topic sentences, a separate video for transitions, a separate video for the ease, and a separate video for conclusions. So all of this is going to be taught in depth coming up. Okay. All right, so we're almost done with this video. Now we're going to take this, we're going to work backwards. So we're going to take this last paper, and you can see that there's two T's here. We're going to just fold on this line. Keep it folded. All right, and then go ahead and take this, fold this so that you cannot see, so that you're either only looking at the top paragraph or only looking at the bottom one. Again, I'm modeling for you what you'll do with your child. And then you're going to we're going to read through this. We're going to work backwards. So we're going to read through a paragraph. We're going to color code it with our child. And after we're done color coding, we're going to identify what it would have looked like on the outline if there had been an outline written first for it. So the first thing we do, and again, I'm modeling for you what you'll do with your child. The first thing we do is read it. So this is titled Do It Right. And younger kids love to give titles to their writing, so no problem with that. If you're going to build a sundae, do it right. Start by taking at least 3 scoops of vanilla ice cream and placing them in your bowl. The bowl should be spacious enough to hold all of the goodies that will be added. Next, sprinkle the ice cream with a small handful of your favorite nuts. Any flavor will do. Now, grab some sprinkles or coconut or small pieces of fruit. Strawberries and blackberries are always welcome on an ice cream sundae. Finally, select your topping. Some favorites are chocolate, butterscotch, and caramel. If you feel brave, add a mountain of whipped cream. Taking time to prepare your sundae the right way will definitely guarantee you a treat to devour. Okay, so now we're going to take this and we are going to see if we can identify what is happening by color coding. So we've got a couple of things going on. First of all, let's have them write what is the topic of this. So the topic of this is building an ice cream sundae. So that's the topic. So we would have them write that at the top. And then over here, we're going to write, here's where we're going to always have our key ideas and a star. And over here, we're going to have the E's and underline that. Okay, so first, we're going to identify what each sentence's job is. Like, what is it doing for us? The first one, obviously, is our topic sentence. If you are going to build a sundae, do it right. Cool. Next, we have our very first key idea. And look at that, the very first word in this, and now transitions don't always have to start the sentence. In fact, it's incredibly effective if they don't, if you embed them within. But with these early examples, they intentionally have put the transitions at the beginning so that kids can pick them out really easily. So you start by taking at least 3 scoops of vanilla ice cream and placing them in your bowl. What would that look like if we were to write that on an outline? What would that key idea look like? Well, there's the first key idea, and it would just be ice cream scoops. We do not ever put complete sentences here for our key ideas, and we don't ever put complete sentences for our E's, ever, okay? So the first key idea is ice cream scoops. Hopefully what follows is going to be some E's, at least one, to support this. Let's see if it does that job. The bowl should be spacious enough to hold all the goodies that will be added. It does do that job. So we're going to underline that in red. That is an E to support that key idea. So we're going to come over here. This one has an E. And what would we say? What would have been on this outline before writing this? Maybe we could say large enough bowl. And that's all we need, okay? Let's see what the next E is, or the next key idea is. Next, oh, look at that, another transition word. So that helps make it clear to the reader that that's our next key idea. Sprinkle the ice cream with a small handful of your favorite nuts. Okay, so this would be nuts. And it's that simple. They don't have to write a lot, just really quickly what the general idea is, and then that becomes an interesting sentence when they're writing their paragraph. Does this have an E that goes with it? Let's check. Any flavor will do. Yes, it does. So we're going to come over here, and that would be any flavor. Okay, and then now we have the next key idea. Now, grab some sprinkles or coconut or small pieces of fruit. So what should we write for that? We'll put, maybe we can call this other goodies. And the reason I'm not saying toppings is that toppings comes up as another key idea. And also, I could, instead of writing other goodies in general, I could say sprinkles, coconut, small pieces of fruit. If I wanted to write them all here, I could. I could also just summarize it like that. And then do we have an E that supports that? Strawberries and blackberries are always welcome on an ice cream sundae. Yes, because small pieces of fruit, that falls with that. Okay, so that's the E for that one. So over here, we're going to write strawberries, blackberries. Okay, we'll adjust this a little bit. Okay, and next we have finally, here's another transition word, select your topping. And so here, for our next key idea, we're going to write topping. And do we have an E? Some favorites are, yep, some favorites are chocolate, butterscotch, scotch, and caramel. So that's an E. Oh, I forgot to write E up there. And we're going to say, here's an E. We're going to say flavors. Do I need to write chocolate, butterscotch, and caramel right here? No, I might have, but I can also just say I'm going to write about my flavors here. And then another E that still supports the topping. If you feel brave, add a mountain of whipped cream. So that's another E. So topping gets another E, and we're going to write whipped cream. Okay, and then here we have our conclusion. Taking time to prepare your sundae the right way will definitely guarantee you a treat to devour. All right, let's see how they did this go back. So if you're going to build a sundae, do it right. Okay, so build a sundae, prepare your sundae, do it right, the right way. So this is how they went back, and they made it clear that this is what we're talking about, and they made it clear that it's going to taste really good, but you have to do it the right way, as identified in the topic sentence. Okay, so you understand what I'm talking about here. Now I'm going to have you, I'm not going to take you through the next one, which is bugs, but I would like you to take a minute and go through and color code bugs, and then come up with an outline that you think would make sense. And I'm just going to put this in the picture. First do your color coding, just like I modeled for you, and then make your outline on this other sheet of paper. Okay, so you will notice as you go through and do this that each of the key ideas has two E's that go with it. So this is kind of a fun one to look at with your child. Okay, I should have said, I didn't, but I should have said pause the video and do this. So if you haven't, go ahead and pause the video before you take a look at this. But let's see how your color coding matches up with this one. Okay, and then now, does your outline match up with this one? And again, keeping in mind that they don't have to write a topic sentence up here. This is just a simple breakdown. But this is where I want to talk to you about the importance of teaching them the accordion method with the color coding. Here's what some students will do. They'll make their outline, and then they'll write a sentence about a spider, and then they'll go right down to ladybug, and then write a sentence about a praying mantis, and then write a sentence about pollinators. And then they might come over here and write these sentences in order. And the paragraph won't make any sense, but they'll do it because they're thinking that that's what they're supposed to do. It happens. It's happened even with middle school students that I've taught. So if you do the color coding first with the accordion, it helps them understand the concept that this is one of our big ideas. And then these guys each become a sentence, and I like to say a sentence or two, to support this. And then after we write those sentences, we go back here to this key idea. After this becomes a sentence, each of these gets to become a sentence or two. And then we go over to this one. And this is actually a really effective thing to do when you're first teaching this to your child. And then after we write the sentence about praying mantis, each of these gets to have its own sentence. And then we come over here to pollinators, and then Each of these gets to have its own sentence, or this one gets to have its own sentence. And then what I don't have written here is a conclusion idea. And so this would be like synonyms or different ideas that your child might have as they're going through the process of brainstorming and creating the outline. They might have some ideas of what they want to say in their conclusion, so they can jot that down here. All right, so we're almost done. The very last thing you're going to do is grab a sheet of notebook paper, because this is the kind of paper that you will be having your child write their outlines on. So you're going to go ahead and grab a sheet of notebook paper. We're going to be making this. So the first thing that you're going to do is draw a line across the top and then a line here. You don't need to go all the way to the bottom. That's it, real simple outline frame. You can add another line here and they can write a full topic sentence, or it can just be their topic sentence idea. If they do want to write their full topic sentence, which by the way, I really like to have my son do, and when I work with students, I like them to get that topic sentence fully written and thought through before they fill in the rest of the outline. I feel like it gives them a starting point. When they sit down to write, they're excited. They at least have one complete sentence done that they're energized about, and the rest of it seems to flow much easier for them. So this would be the topic sentence, and I always write this is exactly what I have them write on every single outline to remind themselves this is the topic sentence. Now this is the only full sentence that's allowed on the outline. So let's write a note up here. So that topic sentence is the only full sentence allowed on the outline. Why is that important? That's very important in here. The reason is that if we allow them to put a full sentence here, they're going to write something very brief, right? So they can get it to fit into their spot. Right now, this is the time for them to organize their ideas. It is not the time for them to be developing interesting and engaging sentences, because this is the organization phase. And if you do that, you're shooting yourself in the foot, essentially, if you allow your child to write complete sentences here. Trust me on this. They're going to give you much better writing if you only let them write the general idea of what they want to write about here. And then when they're creating their paragraphs, then that's where they get to develop them. They're going to be much more creative at that point. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do, and this is on every single outline. You don't have to write the only full sentence allowed on the outline unless you think your kid's going to try to pull a fast one on you and write full sentences on here. Then you should probably do that. So you're going to write key ideas and underline it. You're going to want to color code that for sure. Help them remember that that's the yellow. And then you're over here, you're going to write the E's, and the E's are red. So make sure you color code that as well. That's important. And then you decide how many key ideas do you want. Depending on the age, depending on what they're writing about, you might say, you can have 2 key ideas, but I want you to have at least 1 E for each. Or you might say, I'd like you to have 3 key ideas and 2 E's for each, or 3 key ideas and 1 E for each. I like to just go ahead and start with 1 key idea, 1 E, a second key idea, see the space I gave it, a second E, and a third key idea, and a third E. Notice that this isn't exactly over, it's over and then down. 1, over and then down. Now, as they're writing, they might decide, you know what, Mom, I can't come up with a third key idea. I really am not sure. And so I'll say, okay, as long as you've got 2 E's for each of these, I'm good with that. And you can just erase this. Or they might say, I've got 4 that I want to do. And I'll say, cool, just add another star and put an E over here. Sometimes a key idea doesn't have an E to go with it, and that's okay too. One thing you want to watch out for and you want to identify to your child is that these 2 do not get blended together. This gets its own sentence, this gets its own sentence or 2. You never blend them. Don't allow that. If they try to blend them, identify that and tell them, nope, you've got to turn these into their own separate sentences. The reason for that is that this is a key idea. This is the meat of our paper. This is where we're fully developing everything. So if we allow these 2 to be blended, we're weakening our writing. So don't allow that. As they're writing, they might realize that they actually have more than one E that they want to put in, and so you just have them add that in there. So you can probably imagine that creating an outline just out of thin air can be really hard for students. It's incredibly hard. So you don't want to jump to the planning phase before you've done the pre-writing phase and the brainstorming. You want to get that brainstorming done first. So if that's a web, great. If that's a list, great. If that's a Venn diagram, great. Whatever method you want to use for brainstorming, that's where we want to go. We want to do that first. Then we want to decide, okay, which of these main things I want to focus on is going to go in what order, which one's going to go first, second, third, fourth, and then what order do I want my E's to go in. Once they've done that, then plugging everything into the outline is easy peasy. And now they have a plan. Now they can sit down and start writing. Okay, so remember how I said this is just video 1, and I know this one ended up being a lot longer than I thought it would be, and so thank you for hanging in there. I hope that you have found this to be helpful, and now we're going to see how this gets put into play to break this paragraph concept down into its different components and end up with some pretty awesome paragraphs at the end. Okay, thank you.